大家午安。
Good afternoon. Welcome to the press conference of the Chief Executive, Mr. Donald Tsang. First of all, Mr. Tsang will say a few words. Mr. Tsang, please. Thank you. Yesterday, I was in Beijing to be sworn in as the Chief Executive. This is my first day at work as the Chief Executive. I'm feeling fresh and spirited. I have the support of the Central People's Government and the public of Hong Kong. I dare not allow any slack. In the next 2 years, I will seize on every minute and every second to perform my duties as the Chief Executive. This morning, I met with all principal officials and non-official members of the Executive Council. I have formally invited them to stay. The public of Hong Kong also expect the SAR government to come up with results as soon as possible. So that would depend on the hard work and the united efforts of and I will implement my manifesto and the pledges I've made during the election campaign. The keys are better governance, social harmony, and economic development on all fronts. So I will immediately embark on the following tasks. Firstly, I will submit the nomination of Chief Secretary for Administration today. In fact, I have just submitted the nomination to the Central People's Government for their consideration. Secondly, I will look into the restructuring of the Executive Council as soon as possible. While I have invited the official and non-official members of the Executive Council to stay, I am looking to bring in more talents and also to reform the proceedings. Thirdly, I will be identifying talents from the various talent pools in the various sectors and invite them to join the restructured Commission on Strategic Development and other important administrative advisory organizations. And together with the central government, they work on major issues and build our future. Fourthly, I will arrange to meet with the various political parties and independent members of the Legislative Council as soon as possible so that I can listen to their views and suggestions on my future policy blueprint. I will also attend the question time at the Legislative Council as soon as possible. In fact, I will be going there on Monday afternoon. This has been agreed to by the Legislative Council. Fifthly, I will take stock of all the views I've heard during the campaign, and then in my policy address in October, I will give a full response, listing out our priorities and initiatives. The next 2 years will be full of challenges. Within Hong Kong, we must rebuild the trust between the people of Hong Kong and the government. We must rekindle the public's confidence. At the central and on the relations between the central government and the SAR, we must ensure Hong Kong remains an asset of the country. On the international arena, Hong Kong has a role to play in the economy and trade and commerce. We will strive to develop a free and open market. And as we're in sequence with the time zone of the United States and Europe, we will strive to develop Hong Kong as an important financial and trade and commerce platform. The Chief Executive is the public servant of the people. My personal career is about striving for the well-being of the people of Hong Kong. I have no other aspirations. My responsibilities are arduous and the road ahead is full of challenges. Hong Kong has seen signs of economic upturn, and there is good momentum gathering, but this has been achieved through much hard work. So I hope we will all cherish the current state of development. There is no room for mutual attack, but there is boundless room for solidarity and perseverance. We must not waste time locked in arguments day in and day out. We must work hard for development, building our community and promoting prosperity, contributing to the country is exactly what Hong Kong people want. So let's put aside our past baggage and work together for a better future.
The oath of allegiance. This morning I met the principal officials and non-official members of the Executive Council, and I have formally invited all of them to stay on. Today is my first working day after being appointed Chief Executive of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region. With 2 years to deliver the promises of my election campaign, I will move at full steam to make this happen. My action plan for the next 2 years will focus on better governance, greater social harmony, and stronger economic performance. First, I will submit my nomination for the post of Chief Secretary for Administration to the Central People's Government, and I did that earlier today. Second, I will start working on restructuring the Executive Council, identifying suitable candidates to join the top body. Third, I will put in motion my plan to tap into the talent pools of various sectors so as to capture the insight and wisdom of the community as a whole for the betterment of Hong Kong. I will look to a much wider range of business, political, and community leaders for appointments to the restructured Commission on Strategic Development and government advisory bodies. Fourth, I will meet with legislators from different political groups and independents as soon as possible to listen to their views and suggestions about my future policy blueprint. I also plan to attend my first Legislative Council question time session day after tomorrow. Fifth, I will consolidate and review all the suggestions that were presented to me during the election so that I can respond fully to the people who were kind enough to share their views with me during my election campaign. I will incorporate those views to the best of my ability in my first policy address to be delivered in October. These are immediate issues that I begin to implement as I begin to implement my program. They will be crucial to the success of my administration. I fully appreciate that the next 2 years will not be short of challenges. The tasks we face are multifaceted. Within our community, we must act quickly and with firm resolve to restore Hong Kong's people's spirit and confidence. And we must rebuild the trust between the government and the people of Hong Kong. At the national level, we must make sure it's an asset of China.
And on the international stage, Hong Kong has a duty to hold high the flag of economic freedom, of open markets, of a level playing field. As New York is to North America and London is to Europe, we must firmly anchor Hong Kong's position as a premier business and financial hub of the Asia-Pacific region. These are no easy tasks. We will not shirk from them. My strength, inspiration, and faith in our ability to rise to challenges came from the can-do spirit of the people of Hong Kong. Fellow citizens, I sought the post of Chief Executive of the SAR for one single purpose, a purpose that has motivated millions of our people over many generations. I sought the post to build a better future for our home. The next 2 years represent a partnership project between myself and all the people of Hong Kong. Divided, there is little we can do, but united, there is little that we cannot do. Shakespeare once said, "There is a tide in the affairs of men, which taken at a flood leads on to fortune." I believe there's such a tide now running strongly in Hong Kong's favor. I believe that the people of Hong Kong are ready to march on to greatness, to achieve our own community a decent life for all, to achieve our country further progress in a long march towards prosperity and stability. For this is our destiny.
Thank you very much. 多謝各位。
OK，而家特首就會。
The Chief Executive will now take questions. So as before, please identify yourself by giving your name and the organization you represent, and please do cooperate and limit yourself to one question each time. Cable TV, please. Mr. Tsang, today, Mr. Tsang, you have submitted the nomination of the Chief Secretary for Administration to the Central People's Government. Could that be Mr. Raphael Hui? One question at a time, please. Yes, I have submitted my report to the Central People's Government, but this is a nomination, an appointment to be made by the Central People's Government. So before the CPG has a chance to consider the nomination, it is not appropriate for me to announce the candidate. I hope you understand that. But what is important is that on my part, I have made a decision on that matter. Oriental Daily, the TVB. Why is Mr. Raphael Hui a suitable candidate for the post of the Chief Secretary of Administration? Well, I'm sure many people are suitable candidates for the post of Chief Secretary for Administration. I think I have already made a report to the Central People's Government. I'm not going to comment on that further until there is an approval from the Central People's Government. TVB? Now, in selecting candidates for the post of the CS, what criteria have you considered? What about his relationship with you and his past experience in the government? Do you believe Mr. Hui fits those criteria? Well, I'm not going to talk about Mr. Hui at this point. I think there are three important considerations for a candidate for the post of CS. You know, all those who've worked with me, they share these qualities, but of course, this person must be patriotic, it must be highly competent, and we're not just talking about any post, this is the post of CS. That means he must know the community well, he must be committed to the community, and he must be very skilled in the civil service system and public administration. And the third consideration, he must be able to work with me, so that we could work for results together. RTHK, yes.
A CS candidate to the central government today, can you review the details and also what the qualities for the CS, and also what are your main jobs with?
The one question at a time, please, okay?
I made a recommendation to the central government today on the appointment of the Chief Secretary for Administration. It is inappropriate for me to reveal the name of the person before the central government has a chance to consider my recommendation. The qualities that I expect from the person who will be doing the job of the Chief Secretary are as follows. First of all, he must be patriotic. He must love Hong Kong. Second, he must have very high abilities to able to do a job of great demand, a job which will able to command the respect of the population at large, and able to administer a huge organization like the Hong Kong government, 160,000 people. And at the same time, he must be able to work in a very coordinating and in a very cooperative fashion with me as my number two.
Okay, Jan, the gentleman there, and then ATV, Asif.
Jan Hohn, Handelszeitung. I believe you are counting quite a bit on SEPA to speed up integration and the economic cooperation with the mainland. I was talking to some companies, and middle-sized Hong Kong-based company, for example, was trying to make it work for them. And they are delivering quite a bit. And for each delivery, small, middle, and large one, they need to hand in a new SEPA application. And then it does take 1 week, 2 weeks, that is coming back. And then they have still to deal with these custom folks on the border. Why isn't it possible to hand out one company SEPA license, or at least a product line related SEPA license at least for a year, and cut all these bureaucratic tape out?
Well, if what you have said is true, there's something we should look into. Well, thank you very much for telling me.
Okay, Asi.
ATV.
Who you have nominated as the chief secretary.
Right.
But can you say Mr. He is an ideal candidate to be the next chief secretary? And do you think China will approve your nomination?
I'm sorry, I will not. I think it is no need for you to probe me further into it. I've said all I can as regards the appointment of the chief secretary for administration. I said it again, it is inappropriate for me to reveal the name of the person until it has been fully considered by the central government. I think it is basic courtesy.
Okay, Mok Kim Yu,
Mok Kim Yu, and then Kerry Chen. Mok Kim Yu, Apple Daily. Yes, Mr. Tsang, I'm from Apple Daily, Mok Kim Yu. Now, in your address just now, you said you would like to minimize disputes in the community or arguments in the community. Now, have you got any idea how you're going to resolve the disputes or differences you have with the certain parties, in particular the democratic sector? Well, I've answered this question many times. Let me try to answer that again. I think I will do my utmost to make sure there's a high degree of transparency in handling matters, public affairs. I'm sure when I do that, we'll be able to minimize undue arguments. And also, I'll be engaging various sectors in the community in policy formulation. That's why I need to restructure the Commission on Strategic Development. That's why I need to enlarge the membership of the Executive Council. And also, that's why I'm looking at revamping the advisory body's structure. That's because I would like to engage more people from different sectors in the policy formulation process. And I'm sure that will help to reduce arguments and disputes. And that's the same attitude I adopt in working with the Legislative Council. Would like to engage the Legislative Council in our policy formulation process. We hope everybody would feel that they have ownership of public policies. And I will also try to reach out to the people of Hong Kong as much as possible in as short a time as possible, because I want to know exactly what the public aspirations are. I'm sure the public would like to see harmony in the community, and so that's something I work very hard on. Kerry Chen from The Standard. Mr. Tsang, can you tell us what would be the establishment of the Chief Executive's Office and how it will work? Because the post of the Director of a Chief Executive's Office is still vacant. One question, please. Now, on the Chief Secretary for Administration post, that's something I must deal with first. As for my office, well, I'm not going to expand the staff of the Chief Executive Office. Rather, I will try to be as economic as possible as far as staff establishment is concerned. But then I will also try to identify a suitable person to help there. Now, I haven't decided on how I'm going to organize the Chief Executive's Office. That's why I do not wish to rush into nominating someone to the post of the Director of the Chief Executive's Office.
Chen Ho-yi and then this lady. Singtao Chipao. I'm Chen Ho-yi from Singtao. Mr. Tsang, concerning the candidate for the CS4A post, why is it that he has to be chosen from outside? Now, in fact, people like Mr. Michael Soon are fully qualified to be the CS4A. How can you make sure that he can work with all the principal officials? Mr. Soon is, of course, a very good candidate. I'm from the South China Morning Post. Concerning how to improve your relationship with the Democrats, and concerning the membership of EXCO. Now, I wish to say that many people hope that you can lead a delegation of all 60 LegCo members to visit Beijing. So what is your view? Only one question, please. Now, this is, I think, a common wish. But then concerning Hong Kong people going to the mainland to visit the mainland or to work in the mainland, now this is something outside the purview of the SAR government. But of course, I hope that all legislators will be able to meet officials of the Central People's Government. Mr. Tsang, I am Lord Choyan from Mingpao. Before you nominated the CS4A candidate, how many people had you contacted? I don't think I need to tell the public this. I think what is important is that I have already done this. I am telling the public that I have already submitted the nomination, and the Central People's Government will be handling the matter immediately. Now, in fact, I've considered many candidates, both male and female. But what is most important is that I have decided to nominate a certain person. I have already done the nomination. I have to apologize to you. I really can't disclose the details to you. I can't tell you the candidate that I have nominated, but I'm sure the central authorities will deal with the application as soon as possible. All right, last 3 questions. The lady there. I'm from Phoenix. So we are told that you will be restructuring the Executive Council. Can I ask you who from outside the civil service will you be appointing to the EXCO? Now, I think what is important is that we need new EXCO members who can represent the different sectors in the community, including professionals and also the middle class. They must be able to reflect the views of different sectors in the community. And I hope that I will be talking to principal officials on this matter and also to LegCo members as well as other EXCO members. So I will be discussing with them the preparation work that needs to be done. We will be launching the reforms in October, but preparation work will have to start immediately. I am Chung Ho Yu from One Way Pao. Mr. Tsang, you said that you would be delivering the promises that you made during the election period. So concerning the West Kowloon Cultural District, is it that it will no longer be a single award or a single tender? Now I have to consider this further, but it is obvious that the public supports such a cultural district and they want the project to be launched as soon as possible. This is a major infrastructural project, and it can also serve to promote culture or cultural development in Hong Kong. And I have received a very clear message, and that is we shouldn't opt for a single tender. I have to respect such wishes, and before the government makes a decision, it definitely will have to consider such a view or such a suggestion.
Who
hasn't asked a question and who would like to ask a question now? The last question. All right, TVB. Now concerning assistant secretaries or assistant directors of bureaus. Now, Mr. Tsang said that you would only be serving for 2 years, the remainder of the term. And as a result, you shouldn't be taking very drastic action. And then Mr. Joseph Wong has also given some comments on this. So, what is your plan? I haven't changed my mind. I think this is a good way to nurture more political talents for the future. But of course, I will have to talk to the principal officials. In fact, I fully understand what Mr. Joseph Wong has said on this matter. But I will have to talk to the principal officials on this matter. And I will also have to listen to the views of others, including senior and experienced civil servants. Thank you very much. We'll have a lot of opportunities to meet each other again in future. Thank you.